his hands wrapped around her ribcage. One thrust. Nothing. Two thrusts. Her body went limp. The room screamed, but Marcus Washington didn't hear them. 3. 4. This was it. Life or death. 5. The obstruction shot across the floor. She gasped, coughed, breathed. Alive. And then he did something nobody expected. He walked away. No name, no reward. Just disappeared into the November night like smoke. But here's what they didn't know. That 30 seconds changed both their lives forever, in ways neither saw coming. If this story moves you, drop a comment telling me what city you're watching from. I want to see how far these words can travel. And hit subscribe, because every soul has a story worth hearing. Marcus Washington's hands were shaking. Not from fear, not from cold. From the 3 espresso shots he'd downed at 4 a.m. when his alarm went off and his body begged him to stay in bed just 1 more hour. Just 5 more minutes. Just please, God, let me rest. But rest was a luxury men like him couldn't afford. He stood in the bathroom of Giovanni's, the kind of restaurant where the bathroom attendant wore a better suit than Marcus owned, staring at his reflection in gold-trimmed mirrors. 42 years old. The lines around his eyes told stories he wished he could forget. His shirt, the good one, the one without frayed cuffs, was wrinkled despite his daughter's best efforts with the iron that only worked on the highest setting. "You look handsome, Daddy," Keisha had said that morning, straightening his collar with her 9-year-old hands. "Like a king." "Kings don't work construction, baby girl." "The good ones do." He'd kissed her forehead and left before she could see his eyes water. Now he splashed cold water on his face, careful not to wet the shirt. The attendant, an older white man who'd been watching him since he walked in, cleared his throat. "Sir, there are towels here." Marcus grabbed a hand towel, met the man's eyes in the mirror. "I know where the towels are." The attendant looked away first. They always did. Marcus left $2 in the tip jar anyway, money he didn't have. But his mama raised him right, even when right felt like punishment. The dining room glowed with soft amber light. Crystal chandeliers, white tablecloths so pristine they looked like they'd never been used. The kind of place where black folks like him usually entered through the back door, wearing an apron or pushing a mop bucket. But tonight was different. Tonight was his birthday. 42 years of breathing, fighting, surviving. And his baby girl had saved every dollar of her allowance for 3 months to buy him this gift card. "You deserve something nice, Daddy," she'd said, pressing the envelope into his hands with both of hers. Just once. He'd tried to refuse, tried to explain that $50 could buy groceries, school supplies, new shoes for her brother whose toes were pressing through the canvas. But she'd looked at him with those eyes, her mama's eyes, and said, "Please, let me give you something." So here he sat, alone at a table for 2. The empty chair across from him a ghost that never left. The waiter, young, polished, practiced smile, appeared with water. "Good evening, sir. Can I start you with something to drink?" Marcus heard the hesitation, the microscopic pause before, "Sir," the way the waiter's eyes darted to the gift card on the table. "Water's fine." "Of course. Are you waiting for someone?" "No." "Just dining alone this evening, then?" The question hung there. Unspoken translation. "Are you sure you can afford to be here?" "Just me," Marcus said, voice level. "Just my birthday." Something flickered across the waiter's face. Shame, maybe, or pity, which was worse. "Well, happy birthday, sir. I'll give you a moment with the menu." Marcus opened the leather-bound menu and his heart sank. The cheapest entree was $42. The gift card was $50. Tax and tip would eat the rest. He ordered the linguine. Plain. No appetizer, no drink. Just pasta and the water that was supposed to be free in America. Across the dining room, someone laughed. The kind of laugh that cost nothing because money was never a concern. Marcus didn't look. He'd learned long ago that watching other people's happiness only made his heavier. His phone buzzed. Text from Keisha. "Are you eating fancy food?" He smiled. Typed back with thumbs too big for the keys. "The fanciest. Love you, baby girl." "Love you too, Daddy. Happy birthday. You are the best daddy in the whole world." Whole, he thought, but didn't correct her. Let her be 9. Let her believe her daddy was the best at something. Another text, this one from his son. "Happy B-Day, Pops. Don't forget my game tomorrow, 10 a.m. Marcus closed his eyes. Tomorrow was Saturday. He had the morning shift at the warehouse, 7 to 3. The game started at 10. He typed, "Wouldn't miss it." Sent it before the truth could stop him. He'd figure it out. Call in sick maybe. Lose a day's pay. Lose the perfect attendance bonus he'd been building for 6 months. But some things mattered more than money. Some things. The pasta arrived. 18 pieces of linguine. He counted without meaning to. 7 shrimp. Cherry tomatoes that cost more than regular tomatoes for reasons he'd never understand. A sprig of basil. It was delicious. It was everything. It was gone too fast. He ate slowly anyway, made each bite last, pretended he was someone else, someone who belonged here, someone whose hands weren't scarred from catching his weight when the scaffolding gave way last month, someone whose back didn't scream every morning like it was trying to quit his body. "How is everything?" The waiter again. Genuine this time. The earlier judgment gone. "Perfect," Marcus said, and meant it. "Can I interest you in dessert? We have a chocolate." "No, thank you. Just the check." The waiter nodded, disappeared, returned with a small black folder. Marcus did the math before opening it. 42 for the pasta. Tax brought it to $45.73. He laid the gift card inside, added $6 in cash, his last $6 until Friday, for the tip. 20%. Like his mama taught him. Like a man should. He was reaching for his jacket when he heard it. Not a scream. Worse. The absence of sound. The sudden vacuum where breath should be. His head snapped up. Training he didn't know he had kicked in. Years of watching Keisha's asthma attacks. The way her face changed in the seconds before the inhaler. The way panic moved faster than air. 3 tables over. Woman in a gray suit. Expensive. Tailored. She was standing, hand at her throat, eyes wide, mouth open in a silent scream. Nobody moved. The couple at the next table stared. A man pulled out his phone. Someone said, "Oh my God," but didn't get up. Marcus was on his feet. "Call 911, he said to no one, to everyone. Long strides across carpet that cost more per square foot than his monthly rent. The woman's face was changing colors. Red to purple. Purple to something worse. A man in a suit, her dinner companion, grabbed her shoulders. "Victoria, Victoria, can you breathe?" She couldn't. Obviously couldn't. And he was making it worse. "Step back," Marcus said. The man didn't move. "Who are you? Step back. Now." Something in Marcus's voice, the voice that could stop his teenagers mid-argument, the voice that carried 20 years of commanding respect he'd never been given, made the man move. Marcus positioned himself behind her. Victoria. Her name was Victoria. "I've got you," he said quietly, just to her. "You're going to be okay." He locked his hands, found the spot below her ribcage. his construction rough palms against expensive silk. First thrust. Nothing. She grabbed his arms, nails digging in, desperate. Second thrust. Harder. Her body weight sagged against him. He took it, held her up. "Stay with me," he said. "Stay right here." Third thrust. Fourth. The room was yelling now. Someone screamed for a doctor. Someone else was crying. Marcus blocked it out. This was just him and her and 30 seconds between life and death. Fifth thrust. He put everything into it. Every morning he woke up at 4 a.m., every double shift, every time he chose his kids over sleep. Everything. The obstruction shot from her throat, sailed across the room, hit the floor. Victoria gasped, coughed, sucked in air like a drowning person breaking the surface. The room exploded. Applause, crying, shouting. Someone was filming. Marcus held her until she could stand on her own. Then he stepped back. She turned, tears streaming down her face, mascara in dark rivers, hair disheveled, alive. "You," she couldn't finish, tried again. "You saved my life." Marcus nodded once. "Thank you," she whispered. "Please, your name, let me—" But he was already moving, back to his table, jacket in hand, check signed, the $6 still there. "Sir!" The man in the suit, running after him. "Please, wait! She wants to thank you properly. She can—" "She did," Marcus said. "But you don't understand. She's Victoria Chen, the CEO of—" "Don't matter who she is. Someone needed help." He kept walking, past the host stand, past the waiting couples, past the life he'd never have. "Your name!" the man shouted. "At least tell us your name!" Marcus pushed through the heavy door into November cold. The valet looked up, surprised to see him leaving through the front. He didn't answer, didn't look back. The bus stop was 2 blocks away. He had 40 minutes before the last one came. Had to be home before midnight. Had to check on Keisha. Had to make sure Ty finished his homework. Had to be awake in 5 hours to do it all again. Behind him, inside the restaurant, phones were recording. Voices were rising. A woman who controlled billions was crying into a stranger's shoulder. And Marcus Washington walked into the darkness, hands still shaking from adrenaline and espresso, and the weight of invisible men who save the world and disappear before anyone learns their names. His phone buzzed. Keisha again. "Was it good, Daddy?" He stopped under a streetlight. Typed. "Baby girl, it was perfect." And for the first time in 3 years, since the day his wife's heart gave out in the produce aisle while he was at work, since the day he became both parents and somehow neither, since the day he learned that survival and living are 2 different things, Marcus smiled. Not because he was happy, but because for 30 seconds in a room full of people who'd never see him as equal, he was exactly who his daughter said he was. A king. The bus pulled up. Hydraulics hissing. Door opening with a pneumatic sigh. Marcus climbed aboard, paid his fare, found a seat in the back. The driver met his eyes in the mirror. "Good night?" Marcus thought about it. Really thought. "Yeah," he said. "Yeah, it was." The bus pulled away from the curb, away from Giovanni's, away from crystal chandeliers and $50 pasta and women who controlled empires. Back to the South Side. Back to his 3rd floor walk-up. Back to his kids sleeping in bunk beds they'd outgrown. Back to the life that was his. He leaned his head against the cold window and watched the city lights blur past. Thought about that moment, her weight against him, her life in his hands, the choice that wasn't a choice at all. His mama used to say, Baby, you can't save everybody, but you save who you can, when you can, how you can. Tonight, he could. Tomorrow, he'd figure out how to make his son's game, how to stretch $23 until Friday, how to keep Keisha from knowing their electricity was 2 weeks from shutoff. But tonight, riding the last bus home through neighborhoods that tourists avoided, Marcus Washington let himself feel something he'd forgotten existed. Pride. Not the kind that needed recognition, not the kind that demanded reward, just the quiet kind, the kind that comes from doing right because right is all you have left. The bus stopped at 34th Street, his stop. He stood, joints protesting, back already planning tomorrow's rebellion. "Hey, brother," the driver said as Marcus passed. Marcus turned. "Happy birthday, man. Whatever you did tonight, I can see it on you. That's good light." Marcus didn't ask how he knew, didn't question it. "Thanks, brother." "You have a blessed night." "You too." The doors closed. The bus rumbled away. Marcus stood on the corner of 34th and King, watching taillights fade into distance. His apartment building loomed ahead. Graffiti on the south wall. Broken security lights someone promised to fix 6 months ago. Home. He climbed the stairs. 1 flight, 2, 3. Each step a negotiation with gravity. His door. The one with the wreath Keisha made from construction paper. Red and green. Christmas coming. Another holiday to pretend money didn't matter. He unlocked it quiet, slipped inside. The apartment was dark except for the nightlight in the hallway, shaped like a butterfly. $7 at the dollar store. Keisha's favorite thing. He checked on them. Always checked on them. Ty first. 16 and already taller than Marcus. Sprawled across his bed like he was trying to claim more space than physics allowed. Phone still in his hand. Marcus took it gently, plugged it in, pulled the blanket over his son's shoulders. "Love you, Ty," he whispered. Ty mumbled something in his sleep, turned over. Marcus moved to the top bunk. Keisha, 9 years old and still sleeping with Mr. Bear, the stuffed animal that survived 3 moves and her brother's attempts to, accidentally, throw it away. She was perfect. They both were. He kissed her forehead, whispered, "Thank you for my birthday, baby girl. Best gift ever." She smiled in her sleep. Marcus stood there in the dark, watching his children breathe. In and out. In and out. The rhythm he lived for. His phone vibrated. Low battery warning. He'd charge it in the kitchen while he meal prepped tomorrow's lunches. But first, he let himself have this moment. 2 kids, alive, healthy, loved. 1 woman across town, alive because he was there. 1 man, invisible to most, essential to few. Marcus Washington. Father. Worker. Survivor. Hero, though he'd never call himself that. He closed the door to their room. Soft click. Tomorrow would come. It always did. With its demands and its debts and its relentless insistence that he be more than one person could be. But tonight, he'd been enough. And somewhere in a restaurant that would talk about this for years, a woman named Victoria Chen sat in the back of a car, touching her throat, wondering about the man who saved her life and asked for nothing. Not even his name. The phone started ringing at 6:15 a.m. Marcus was already awake. Had been since 4:30. That was the deal his body made with exhaustion years ago. You can sleep when you're dead. Until then, 4:30. He stood at the stove, scrambling eggs with one hand, packing lunches with the other. Muscle memory. The choreography of single fatherhood. The phone rang again. Marcus ignored it. Probably a robocall. Or worse, the credit card company asking about the payment he couldn't make this month. "Daddy, your phone!" Keisha shuffled into the kitchen, Mr. Bear dragging behind her. Hair wild, eyes sleepy. "I hear it, baby. Come eat." She climbed onto the chair, the one that wobbled but they couldn't afford to replace. Marcus set her plate down. 2 eggs, 1 piece of toast. The breakfast that had to carry her until lunch. "Did you have fun last night?" she asked. Marcus smiled, kissed the top of her head. "Best birthday ever." The phone rang a 3rd time. "Daddy!" I know. He grabbed it. Unknown number. Declined. It rang immediately again. Same number. Something cold moved through his chest. Unknown numbers that called back didn't bring good news. They brought hospital bills, school emergencies, evictions. He answered. "Yes?" "Mr. Washington? Marcus Washington?" White voice. Professional. The kind that came with college degrees and dental insurance. "Who's asking?" "My name is Jennifer Kwan. I'm a producer with Channel 7 News. We're trying to reach the man who saved Victoria Chen's life last night at Giovanni's restaurant. We have footage that appears to show you—" Marcus hung up, stared at the phone like it had bitten him. "Who was that?" Keisha asked through a mouthful of eggs. "Nobody, baby. Eat." The phone rang again. Different number. Marcus turned it off. "Daddy, you're shaking." He looked down. She was right. His hands were trembling. "I'm fine. Just tired. You got your homework?" "In my backpack." "Good girl." Ty emerged from the bedroom, moving like a zombie in basketball shorts. 16 and already walking like the world owed him something. Marcus recognized that walk. Had it himself once. Before life taught him different. "Morning." "Morning, Ty. Eat. We leave in 20. Ty poured cereal. Milk that was 2 days from expiring. They'd finish it today or throw it out tomorrow. Marcus's phone vibrated on the counter. Still off, but something was coming through. He picked it up, turned it back on. 43 missed calls. 67 text messages. His heart stopped. "Ty, what's your Instagram password?" "Why?" "Just tell me." "It's private, Dad." "Tyrell Marcus Washington, what is your password?" The full name. The voice. Ty knew better than to push. "Ty Marcus, 23. Why?" Marcus grabbed Ty's phone off the table, opened Instagram. The app loaded, and there he was. The video had 17 million views. 17 million. Oh, God. "Dad?" Ty was standing now. "What's wrong?" Marcus couldn't speak. Could only watch himself on a stranger's phone. Watch himself cross the restaurant. Watch himself save Victoria Chen. Watch himself walk away. The comments were endless. Who is this man? Find him. Real hero. Why did he leave? Black excellence. Probably has warrants, LOL. That last one. That one hit different. "Dad, what is that?" Marcus looked at his son. Really looked at him. 16 years old. Black. Male. In America. The video that made Marcus a hero made Ty a target the moment he stepped outside. "We need to talk." "Is that you?" Keisha had climbed off her chair. She was watching over his shoulder. "Daddy, you're famous!" "No." Marcus's voice came out harder than he meant. "No, baby, I'm not famous. I helped someone, that's all." "But everyone's talking about you. Look!" She pointed at the screen. 67,000 comments! "We're not reading comments." "Why not?" Because people say things online they wouldn't say to your face. But they're saying nice things. Look, this man is a hero. Give this king his crown. Everyone repost until we find him. Marcus felt sick. The doorbell rang. All three of them froze. Nobody rang their doorbell. Mail came through the slot. Neighbors knocked. The only people who rang doorbells were police and process servers. Marcus moved to the window, peeked through the blinds. A news van. Channel 7. 2 more pulling up behind it. "No," he whispered. "No, no, no." "What's happening?" Ty was beside him now, looking out. "We need to leave. Now." "Dad!" "Now, Ty. Get your sister's shoes. Keisha, grab your backpack. We're going out the back." "But school doesn't start until—" "We're going early. Move." They moved. Years of trusting Daddy, when Daddy's voice went quiet and hard, had taught them not to ask questions. Marcus grabbed his wallet, his keys, Keisha's inhaler, the things you grabbed when the world came apart. The doorbell rang again, followed by knocking. "Mr. Washington? We just want to talk for a moment." Marcus herded his kids toward the back door, through the kitchen, down the service stairs that smelled like old cooking and desperation. His phone rang. He answered without thinking. "Marcus Washington?" Different voice, female, older. "Who is this?" "My name is Margaret Torres. I'm the personal assistant to Victoria Chen. She'd very much like to speak with you." Marcus stopped on the landing between 2nd and 1st floor, his kids ahead of him, news vans behind him. "How did you get this number?" "Miss Chen has resources. Mr. Washington, she's very grateful for what you did. She'd like to thank you properly." "I don't need thanks. Perhaps we could arrange a meeting, somewhere private, away from the media." "Lady, I don't know you. I don't know her. I helped someone who needed help. That's all. She'd like to compensate you for—" "I don't want compensation. Mr. Washington, please. Just 5 minutes of your time." Marcus looked at Keisha, at Ty, at the life he'd built from nothing that was about to become everyone's business. "Tell Ms. Chen I appreciate the thought, but I have kids to raise, a life to live. I'm not interested in whatever this is." "Mr. Washington." He hung up. They made it to the alley behind the building. Marcus's truck was parked 3 blocks away. 15 years old. Rusted wheel wells. But it ran. They walked fast, heads down. "Daddy, why are we running?" Keisha's voice was small. "We're not running, baby. We're just taking the long way." "Because of the video?" Marcus didn't answer. Couldn't. "What do you tell your 9-year-old daughter? That the world doesn't like black men who become visible? That heroes are fine as long as they stay in their lane? That he learned a long time ago that attention was dangerous when you're 1 paycheck from homeless?" They reached the truck, climbed in, doors locked. Marcus sat for a moment, hands on the wheel, not starting the engine. "Dad?" Ty's voice, uncertain. "I need you both to listen to me." Marcus turned to face them. "What happened last night? The video. It's going to get bigger before it goes away." "But that's good, right?" Keisha said. "You saved someone. You're a hero." "Baby, heroes in movies get parades. Heroes in real life get complicated. People are going to have questions. Reporters, strangers. They're going to want to know who we are, where we live. They're going to take pictures." "So? We didn't do anything wrong." Marcus's throat tightened. "I know, baby. I know we didn't. But when you look like me, people assume wrong until you prove right. And even then, they're not always convinced." Ty understood. Marcus could see it in his eyes. 16 years of being followed in stores. watched, suspected. His son already knew what Keisha was still too young to grasp. "What do we do?" Ty asked. "We go to school, go to work, live our lives. We don't talk to reporters. We don't answer questions. If anyone asks, you say, 'No comment,' and you walk away. Understood?" "Yes, sir." "Keisha?" "Yes, Daddy." "Good. Now let's get you to school." Marcus started the engine. It coughed, protested, turned over. The radio came on automatically. Morning news. The mysterious hero who saved tech CEO Victoria Chen has been identified as Marcus Washington, a construction worker from the South Side. Chen has announced a $50,000 reward for anyone who can help her locate Washington to thank him personally. Marcus snapped it off. $50,000. The number hung in the air like smoke. "Daddy, that's—" "I know what it is." "That's college," Ty said quietly. "That's everything." Marcus pulled into traffic, gripped the wheel so tight his knuckles went pale. "Money like that comes with strings, Ty. Always does." "What if it doesn't? What if she just wants to say thank you?" "People like her don't just say anything. They buy. They own. They control." "You don't know that." "I know enough." They drove in silence, past pawn shops, past churches with marquee signs promising miracles, past the check-cashing place where Marcus paid 3% just to access his own money because banks didn't want people like him. Keisha's school appeared. Elementary. Chain-link fence. Metal detectors. Marcus pulled to the curb. "Remember what I said. No talking to strangers." "I know, Daddy." "I love you, baby girl." "Love you too." She climbed out, backpack too big for her small frame. Marcus watched until she was inside. Safe. Then Ty's school. High school. Bigger, more dangerous in ways that had nothing to do with academics. "Dad," Marcus turned, "what if we need that money? What if the truck dies? What if you get hurt at work? What if—" "We'll figure it out. We always do." "But we don't have to this time. We could just meet her. Just talk. You don't have to take anything if you don't want to." Marcus studied his son. When did he get so tall, so old, so tired of watching his father struggle? "I'll think about it." "Promise?" Yeah, I promise. Now go. You're already late." Ty got out, hesitated. "Dad, what you did, that was brave." Marcus felt something crack inside his chest. "So is what you do every day, son. Going to school in a neighborhood like this. Keeping your grades up when everything's working against you. That's brave, too." Ty nodded, closed the door. Marcus watched him walk through the metal detectors. Watched the security guard pat him down. Watched his son submit to it like it was normal. Because for them, it was. Marcus's phone rang again. He glanced at it. 23 missed calls in the last 10 minutes. He turned it off. Drove to the construction site. The foreman was waiting. "Washington, my office." Marcus's stomach dropped. He followed Bill into the portable that served as headquarters. Crowded, hot, smelling like coffee and sweat. "Close the door." Marcus closed it. Bill turned. He was 50-something, white, former military. Fair, mostly, which was more than Marcus could say for most. "You want to tell me why Channel 7 called me this morning asking about you?" "No, sir." "That you in the video?" Marcus said nothing. "Marcus, I need you to talk to me." "Yes, sir. That's me." Bill leaned against the desk, crossed his arms. You know what happens when my guys get famous? They quit, get book deals, reality shows. They forget about the job. I'm not quitting. You sure? $50,000 is a lot of money. I'm sure. Because I need to know if you're reliable. I got a crew depending on you. Got deadlines. Got... Bill. Marcus met his eyes. I need this job. I got 2 kids. I got bills. I'm not going anywhere. Whatever's happening out there, it's not me. I just want to work. Bill studied him. Long moment. All right. But when reporters start showing up here, and they will, you handle it on your own time, not mine. Yes, sir. And Marcus? Yeah? What you did. That took guts. Don't let anyone make you feel bad about doing right. Marcus felt his throat tighten again. Thank you, sir. Now get out there. We're pouring concrete on the south foundation. Marcus worked through lunch, through the moment his phone started vibrating in his locker, through the afternoon when a news van pulled up and Bill had to run them off the site. He worked until his back screamed, until his hands bled through the gloves, until the sun started setting, and Bill called time. Washington, hold up. Marcus turned. Bill walked over, lowered his voice. Someone's been waiting for you, out front. Been there since 3. Who? Says she's from Tech Vision Industries. Says Victoria Chen sent her. Marcus's jaw clenched. Tell her I left. Already tried. She says she'll wait. Then let her wait. Marcus headed for his truck. Saw her immediately. Asian woman, mid-30s. Business suit that cost more than his monthly rent. She was leaning against a black Mercedes. When she saw him, she straightened. Mr. Washington? Marcus kept walking. Mr. Washington, please, just 2 minutes. I'm tired, lady. I got kids to pick up. I understand. I'm Margaret. We spoke this morning. I remember. Ms. Chen asked me to give you this. She held out an envelope. Thick, white, expensive paper. Marcus stopped, looked at it like it might bite. What is it? A letter from Ms. Chen, personal, just for you. I don't want it. Please, just read it. If you still don't want to meet with her, I'll leave you alone. You have my word. Marcus looked at this woman, at her perfect hair, her perfect clothes, her perfect life that had never worried about electricity bills or feeding kids on $23. He took the envelope. 2 minutes. That's what you said. Thank you, Mr. Washington. She got in the Mercedes, drove away. Marcus stood in the parking lot as the sun went down, held the envelope, felt its weight. Inside was a letter, handwritten, black ink on cream paper. Dear Mr. Washington, I don't know how to begin this letter except with the truth. You saved my life. Not just in the physical sense, though that alone would be enough. You saved me in a way I'm still trying to understand. I've spent 20 years building a company, making decisions that affect thousands of people. I'm used to having answers. But since that night, all I have are questions. Why did you leave? Why didn't you want recognition? Why, in a room full of people recording on their phones, were you the only one who acted? I need to understand. Not for a story, not for publicity. For me. Because in 30 seconds, you reminded me of something I'd forgotten. What it means to help someone and expect nothing in return. Please meet me, just once. Name the place, name the time. I'll be there. With gratitude I can't adequately express. Victoria Chen. Marcus read it twice, then folded it, put it back in the envelope, got in his truck, started the engine. His phone powered on automatically when it connected to the Bluetooth. 47 missed calls. 1 voicemail. He almost didn't listen. Almost deleted it. But something made him press play. "Daddy?" Keisha's voice. Scared. "Daddy, there's people outside our building. They're asking about you. Mrs. Rodriguez says don't come home yet. She says to call her. Daddy, I'm scared." "Where are you?" Marcus's vision went white. He called Mrs. Rodriguez. She picked up on the first ring. "Marcus, thank God." "Where are my kids?" "They're here. They're safe. But Marcus, there must be 15 reporters outside your building. They've been knocking on doors, asking questions." "Call the police." "I did. They said it's not illegal to stand on a public sidewalk." Marcus pulled out of the parking lot, tires screaming. "I'm coming." "Don't. They'll swarm you. Let me bring the kids somewhere. You meet us." "Where?" "The church on Martin Luther King. Back entrance. 20 minutes." Marcus drove like the law didn't exist. Ran 2 red lights. Nearly rear-ended a taxi. His hands were shaking again. But not from espresso this time. From rage. This was what he knew would happen. What always happened. The world didn't want black men to be heroes. It wanted them to be stories. Spectacles. Entertainment. He pulled up to the church. Mrs. Rodriguez's car was already there. Keisha and Ty climbed out when they saw him. Keisha ran into his arms. "Daddy!" "I got you, baby. I got you." Ty hung back, jaw tight, eyes dark. "They were taking pictures of our building, our door, asking the neighbors about us." Marcus felt something break loose inside him, something dangerous, something that knew poverty was safer than attention. "We're leaving." "Where?" Ty asked. "I don't know yet, but we're not going home tonight." Mrs. Rodriguez touched his arm. "Marcus, you have family? Someone you can stay with?" "My sister. She's in Atlanta." "Then go. Get your kids somewhere safe. Let this die down." "I can't just leave. I have work. They have school." "Marcus." Her voice was firm. Kind. The voice of someone who'd raised 5 kids through worse. "Sometimes you run so you can fight another day. This is one of those times." Marcus looked at his kids, at their scared faces, at the childhood he was failing to protect. He pulled out the envelope. Victoria Chen's letter. Read it one more time. Then he made a decision that would change everything. "Mrs. Rodriguez, can you watch them for 1 hour? Just 1. "Of course, but Marcus—" "I need to end this, before it gets worse." He kissed Keisha's head, squeezed Ty's shoulder. "Stay here. Do what Mrs. Rodriguez says. I'll be back." "Where are you going?" Ty asked. Marcus looked at the letter, at the phone number written at the bottom in elegant script. To talk to the woman who started all this. Marcus sat in his truck for 5 minutes before he could make himself dial the number. His finger hovered over the screen. Victoria Chen's personal cell phone, written in her own hand. How many people in the world had this number? 12? 20? He pressed call before he could talk himself out of it. 2 rings. 3. "Hello?" Her voice, the same one that had whispered thank you while she was still coughing. Still alive because of him. "This is Marcus Washington." Silence. Then a sharp intake of breath. "Mr. Washington, thank you for calling. I didn't think you would." "I wouldn't have if you hadn't sent reporters to my home." "I didn't send anyone to your home. I specifically told my team, you offered $50,000. What did you think would happen?" More silence. When she spoke again, her voice was smaller. "You're right. I'm sorry. I wasn't thinking. I just wanted to find you, to thank you properly. You thanked me already. Not properly. Not the way someone should be thanked for saving a life. Marcus closed his eyes, pressed his forehead against the steering wheel. Miss Chen, I have 2 kids. They're scared. There are strangers outside our building, taking pictures, asking our neighbors questions. My daughter called me crying. My son, he's 16. He's black. He's male. Do you understand what that means? Do you understand what happens when people start paying attention to us? I'm sorry. God, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean for any of this to happen. But it did happen. And now I need you to make it stop. How? Tell me how and I'll do it. Marcus opened his eyes, stared at the letter still sitting on his passenger seat. Meet me. Tonight. Just you. No assistants. No security. No cameras. We talk. We end this. Then you tell the world you found me. You thanked me. It's over. The story's done. Okay, yes. Where? Marcus thought fast. Somewhere public enough to be safe. Private enough to be real. You know Lincoln Park? The south side? I can find it. There's a bench by the basketball courts. Be there in 30 minutes. Come alone or I leave. Understand? I understand. Mr. Washington, thank you for giving me this chance. Don't thank me yet, Mrs. Chen. We're not finished talking. He hung up, drove to the park. The sun was almost gone now, streetlights flickering on. The courts were empty. Too cold for pickup games, too late for kids who had parents who cared. Marcus parked, got out, walked to the bench, and waited. 20 minutes later, headlights turned into the lot. A car he didn't recognize. Not the Mercedes from this afternoon. Something smaller, older. A Honda, maybe. The door opened. Victoria Chen stepped out. She looked different. Jeans, sneakers, hair pulled back. No makeup. She looked tired. Human. She walked toward him slowly, hands in her pockets. Mr. Washington. Miss Chen. She gestured to the bench. May I? Marcus nodded. They sat, 2 feet apart, a grand canyon between them. For a long moment, neither spoke. Then Victoria said, I've been trying to figure out what to say to you for 2 days. I've written a dozen speeches, but sitting here now, all of them feel wrong. Then don't give a speech. Just talk. She turned to look at him. Really look at him. Why did you leave? I already told you. My kids were waiting. But you didn't even tell me your name. Didn't wait for the ambulance. You just disappeared. Marcus stared straight ahead, at the empty courts, at the rusted hoops with no nets. You want the real answer? Please. Because I've lived 42 years learning that when people like you notice people like me, it's not usually because we did something right. It's because we fit a narrative. And narratives are dangerous when you're trying to survive. Victoria flinched. People like me. Rich, powerful, white adjacent. Marcus turned to her now. You think I don't know how this works? Poor black man saves rich CEO. It's a story. A feel-good piece for the morning news. Look, racism is over, everybody. A black man helped an Asian woman, and nobody got shot. Then what? I go back to my 3 jobs. My kids go back to their underfunded school. And you go back to your tower. Nothing changes except now everyone knows my face. That's not why I wanted to find you. No? Then why? Victoria's hands were shaking. She clasped them together. Because in that moment, when I couldn't breathe, when I thought I was dying, You were the only person in that room who saw me as a person. Not a CEO, not a symbol, just a human being who needed help. And you helped. And you left. And I've been running a company for 15 years. I've made decisions that affect thousands of lives. But I can't remember the last time I did something for someone and expected nothing in return. Marcus felt something shift in his chest. Didn't want to, but did. That's not my problem to fix, Miss Chen. I know, you're right. This isn't about me. This is about you, about your family. She reached into her pocket, pulled out a phone. I'm going to post something right now, on all my social media. I'm going to say I found you, thanked you personally, asked you to respect your privacy. I'm going to make it clear that the story ends here. Anyone who contacts you on my behalf is acting without my knowledge or consent. Marcus watched her type. Fast, efficient. The kind of typing that came from sending 1,000 emails a day. She showed him the screen. Is this okay? Do you want me to add anything? Marcus read it. Simple, direct, respectful. That's fine. She posted it. 3 taps. Done. There, it's up. The news cycle will move on, probably by tomorrow. And the $50,000? Victoria looked at him. I meant that. It's yours. No strings, no publicity. Just, you saved my life. That's worth something. I don't want your money. Why not? Marcus stood, paced 3 steps, turned back. Because money like that comes with expectations. Maybe not from you, but from everyone else. My landlord raises the rent. Bill collectors come crawling out. Relatives I haven't heard from in 10 years need help. And suddenly, I'm the guy who got paid to be a hero, not the guy who did the right thing. So what do you want? And don't say nothing, because nobody wants nothing. Marcus sat back down, leaned forward, elbows on knees. I want my kids to be safe. I want to work without worrying cameras are following me. I want to pay my bills and feed my family, and not have to choose between electricity and groceries. He looked at her. I want to be invisible again. Can you give me that? Victoria's eyes were wet. No, I can't, because you're not invisible, Mr. Washington. You never were. I just couldn't see you. What's that supposed to mean? It means I eat at restaurants like Giovanni's every week, and I've never noticed the people serving me, cleaning the tables, parking the cars. I've never thought about where they go when their shift ends, what their lives look like, if they're struggling, if they're scared. You saved my life. But more than that, you showed me how blind I've been. Marcus laughed, no humor in it. And what? You're going to change the world now? Become some kind of savior? No, I'm going to try to do better. Pay attention better. Listen better. And I'm going to ask you what you need, really need, not what I think you need. Marcus rubbed his face. God, he was tired. So tired. My daughter, Keisha, she's 9, smart as hell, wants to be a scientist. But her school, they don't have a science lab, don't have updated textbooks, don't have anything except metal detectors and expired fire extinguishers. Victoria pulled out her phone again, started typing. What's the school's name? What are you doing? Writing it down. What else? Ms. Chen, Victoria, please. What else? Marcus felt something dangerous happening. Hope. The kind that could break you. My son, Ty, he's 16. Good kid, great kid. But he's growing up in a neighborhood where being good doesn't always matter. Where the wrong cop on the wrong day could ruin his life. He needs, I don't know, options, opportunities, A future that isn't just trying not to die. Victoria kept typing. Tell me about your work, the construction job. What about it? Do you have benefits? Health insurance? No. Retirement? Lady, I'm worried about next month's rent. Retirement is a fairy tale. How much do you make, annually? Marcus told her, watched her face. She didn't flinch, didn't judge, just typed. And you work 3 jobs to make that. 2.5. The weekend one is part-time. When do you sleep? When I can. Victoria put her phone away, turned to face him fully. I'm going to be honest with you. I can't fix everything. I can't change the fact that this country has systems designed to keep you exactly where you are. I can't give you back your invisibility. But I can do something, and I want to. Not because it makes me feel good, not for publicity, but because you're right. This matters. You don't owe me anything. Yes, I do. I owe you my life. But more than that, I owe you attention, real attention, the kind I should have been paying all along. Marcus felt his throat tighten. My wife, she died 3 years ago. Heart gave out. She was 36. We couldn't afford regular checkups. By the time she saw a doctor, it was too late. I need my kids to not end up like her. I need them to have access to health care, to education, to a life where their zip code doesn't determine their future. Okay. Okay. I can't promise everything, but I can promise to try. I have resources, connections. I know people who run foundations, who fund programs, who can make things happen. Let me help. Marcus stood again. This time Victoria stood too. Why? He asked. Why do you care this much? She met his eyes, no flinching. Because for 2 days, I've been asking myself what would have happened if you hadn't been there. If you'd looked at me and thought, not my problem, not my responsibility. Let someone else handle it. And the answer is, I'd be dead. My family would be planning my funeral. My company would be in chaos. All because I choked on a piece of fish I didn't even taste because I was too busy reading emails on my phone. She took a breath. You didn't have to help me. You were there on your daughter's gift, on your birthday. You had every reason to keep eating your pasta and let someone else step up. But you didn't. You acted. And now I'm standing here breathing because you decided one stranger's life mattered more than your comfort. How could I not care? Marcus felt tears threatening, fought them back. I need you to understand something. I'm not some charity case. I'm not a project. I work hard. I provide for my kids. We're struggling, yeah, but we're not broken. I never thought you were. And I don't want pity. I want fairness. I want a system that doesn't require people to work themselves to death just to survive. Then help me understand how to make that happen. Not just for you, for everyone who looks like you, who works like you, who deserves better than what this country gives them. Marcus studied her face, looking for the lie, the angle, the moment when this turned into something else. He didn't find it. You really mean that? I do. All right. Then I'll make you a deal. You want to help? Don't give me money. Give my kids' school a science lab. Give the community center on King Boulevard the funding they've been begging for. Give the single parents in my building access to childcare so they can work without worrying if their kids are safe. Do those things, and we're square. Victoria extended her hand. Deal. Marcus looked at it, at her manicured nails, her soft palm, the hand of someone who'd never known calluses. He shook it anyway. Her grip was firm. Surprising. "Thank you," she said, "for giving me this chance." "Don't thank me yet. Let's see if you actually follow through." "I will. You have my word." "Words are cheap, Miss Chen." "Victoria, I've heard a lot of promises in my life. Most of them broke before they were finished being spoken." "Then I'll show you. Not with words, with action." She pulled out a business card, wrote something on the back. "This is my personal cell, not the assistant, not the office line. Me. If you need anything, if your kids need anything, if I'm not following through, you call. Directly." Marcus took the card, stared at it. "This feels surreal." "I know. For me too. I don't usually do this. Give out my personal number. Meet strangers in parks after dark. But nothing about this situation is usual." "No, it's not." They stood there. The space between them felt different now. Still vast, still complicated, but less impossible. "I should go," Marcus said. "My kids are waiting." "Of course. I'm sorry I kept you." "You didn't keep me. I called you, remember?" "Still, I know you have responsibilities. Go, be with your family." Marcus started walking toward his truck, stopped, turned back. "Victoria?" "Yes?" "When you post about finding me, about respecting my privacy, make sure you mean it. Because my kids, they're everything to me. If this attention hurts them, if it puts them in danger, there's no amount of science labs or community centers that makes that okay. Understand?" Victoria's face was serious, solemn. "I understand. I promise. This ends tonight." Marcus nodded, walked to his truck. He was halfway there when she called out. "Mr. Washington?" He turned. "I meant what I said in the letter. You reminded me of something I'd forgotten. What it means to help someone and expect nothing back. That's rare. Thank you." Marcus didn't know what to say to that, so he just nodded again, got in his truck, started the engine. Through the windshield, he watched Victoria walk back to her car, watched her sit in the driver's seat for a long moment before starting it, watched her drive away. Then he pulled out his phone, called Mrs. Rodriguez. "Marcus, everything okay?" "Yeah, I'm coming to get the kids now. Is it safe to go home?" "I drove by 20 minutes ago. The reporters are gone. I think someone told them to leave." Marcus looked at Victoria's card still in his hand. "Yeah, someone did. Thanks, Mrs. Rodriguez, for everything." "Anytime, baby. That's what family does." Family, not blood, but the kind you choose, the kind that shows up. Marcus drove back to the church. Keisha ran to him the moment she saw him. "Daddy, are we okay?" He picked her up. She was getting too big for this. But not yet. Not quite yet. "Yeah, baby, we're okay." "Where did you go?" "To fix things." Ty walked over, hands in his pockets, trying to look tough. "It's really over?" "It's really over." "Just like that?" "Just like that." Ty's shoulders relaxed. He'd been holding tension Marcus hadn't noticed until it released. "Can we go home?" "Yeah, son. Let's go home." They thanked Mrs. Rodriguez, promised to pay her back somehow. She waved them off like she always did. The drive home was quiet. Exhausted quiet. The kind that came after crisis. Marcus pulled into their building's lot. No news vans, no reporters. Just their neighbors, their block, their life. They climbed the stairs, all three of them. Keisha held his hand. Ty walked ahead, checking to make sure the coast was clear. Inside their apartment, Everything was exactly as they'd left it. Breakfast dishes in the sink, Keisha's homework on the table. The life they'd built. "Daddy," Keisha said, "are we still poor?" The question hit him like a fist. "Why are you asking that, baby?" "Because people keep saying you should get money for saving that lady. And if we got money, we wouldn't be poor anymore. Right?" Marcus knelt down, eye level with his daughter. "We're not poor, Keisha. We're working hard. There's a difference. But we don't have a lot of money." "No, we don't. But we have something better. We have each other. We have a home. We have love. Money can't buy that. But money could buy new shoes, and field trip money, and—" "I know, baby, I know. And I'm doing everything I can to give you those things. But whether we have them or not, we're still a family. Still happy. Still blessed. Okay?" Keisha hugged him, tight. "Okay, Daddy." Ty was standing in the doorway, listening. "Dad, did you mean that? About the money? You really turned it down?" "I did." "Why?" Marcus stood, looked at his son. 16 and already learning that the world measured worth in dollars. Because taking that money would have changed how people saw us, how we saw ourselves. We would have become the family that got paid to do the right thing. And I don't want that for us. I want us to be the family that does the right thing because it's right, period. Ty thought about that, nodded slowly. "That makes sense, I guess." "You guess?" "I mean, new shoes would have been nice." Marcus laughed. Real laugh. First one in days. "Yeah, they would have been. Tell you what, next paycheck, we'll get you new shoes. Maybe not Jordans, but something." "Deal." They ate leftovers for dinner, watched TV, pretended everything was normal. And slowly, it started to feel that way. Marcus put Keisha to bed, read her 3 chapters from the book about the girl scientist who discovered new planets. "Daddy, when you saved that lady, were you scared?" "Terrified." "But you did it anyway." "Yeah." "That's what brave means, right? Being scared, but doing it anyway?" Marcus kissed her forehead. "That's exactly what it means, baby girl." "Then you're the bravest daddy in the whole world." He tucked Mr. Bear next to her, turned off the light. Ty was in the living room, pretending to do homework, really scrolling through Instagram. "It's already dying down," he said. "The video. People are talking about some celebrity breakup now." "Good." "Dad?" "Yeah?" "What you said earlier, about me needing options, opportunities. You really think I can have that?" Marcus sat next to him, put his arm around his son's shoulders. "I know you can. You're smart, hard-working, good-hearted. The world needs people like you. And I'm going to make sure you get every chance to show them what you can do." "Even without the $50,000? "Especially without it. We don't need handouts, Ty. We just need fair shots. And we'll get them, one way or another." Ty leaned into him. 16 years old, but still Marcus's little boy. "I'm proud of you, Dad. For what you did. For all of it." Marcus felt his eyes burn. "I'm proud of you too, son." They sat there until Ty's eyes got heavy, until he shuffled off to bed, until Marcus was alone. He pulled out Victoria's card, stared at the number. Then he put it in his wallet, next to the photo of his wife, next to Keisha's school picture, next to the things that mattered. His phone buzzed. Text from unknown number. "Mr. Washington, this is Victoria. The post is live. The press inquiries have stopped. I've also made some calls. You should expect to hear from the Southside Community Foundation next week. They're interested in discussing partnerships with your daughter's school and the community center you mentioned. No strings, no publicity, just help. Sleep well, you've earned it. Marcus read it twice, typed back, "Thank you, but I haven't earned anything. Just did what needed doing." Her response came seconds later. "Exactly. That's why it matters." Marcus turned off his phone, checked the locks, checked on his kids one more time. Then he lay down in his bed, in the dark, in the quiet, and for the first time in 3 years, Marcus Washington went to sleep without the weight of the world crushing his chest. Not because his problems were solved, but because, for one night, someone had actually listened. And tomorrow would come. It always did. But tonight, he could rest. 3 weeks passed before Marcus believed any of it was real. He'd learned a long time ago that rich people made promises the way other people made small talk. Easy, forgettable, meaningless the moment the conversation ended. So when Victoria's text came that first night, he filed it away with every other empty gesture he'd collected over 42 years of living. But then Tuesday morning came. Marcus was at work, knee-deep in concrete, when Bill walked over with his phone. "Washington, you got a call." "I'm working." "It's the principal, from your daughter's school." Marcus's heart stopped. He ripped off his gloves, grabbed the phone. "Hello? Is Keisha okay?" "Mr. Washington, yes, Keisha's fine. This is Principal Morrison. I'm calling because we've received some rather extraordinary news this morning." Marcus's pulse slowed. Barely. "What news?" "We've been awarded a grant, a substantial one, from the Southside Community Foundation. Enough to build a new science lab, update our library, and fund after-school programs for the next 3 years. Marcus sat down on a stack of lumber. Nearly missed. "Say that again?" "I know. We're shocked too. Apparently someone recommended our school specifically. The foundation representative mentioned your name. Said you'd spoken to one of their donors about our needs." Marcus couldn't speak. "Mr. Washington, are you there?" Yeah, I'm here." "I don't know what you said or who you said it to, but this is going to change lives. Our kids' lives. I wanted you to be the first parent to know. Well, after the school board, but you understand." "Thank you for calling." "No, Mr. Washington, thank you. Whatever you did, however this happened, thank you." Marcus handed the phone back to Bill, stared at his hands. "Everything all right?" Bill asked. "I don't know yet." That afternoon, Marcus got another call. This one from the community center on King Boulevard. Same story, different numbers. Funding for new equipment, staffing for extended hours, scholarships for kids who couldn't afford membership. By Friday, Marcus had received 6 calls. 6 organizations he'd mentioned to Victoria, either that night in the park or in the follow-up texts she'd sent checking in. Every single one had received funding. He waited until Saturday to call her, after Ty's basketball game, after Keisha's science club meeting at the newly funded community center, after his kids were fed and happy and he had a moment to breathe. She answered on the second ring. "Marcus, hi, I've been hoping you'd call." "You did it." "We did it. You told me where the need was. I just connected the dots." "Victoria, this is. I don't even know what to say." "Then don't say anything. Just let it happen. Let people help." Marcus paced his tiny kitchen. 3 steps one way, 3 steps back. "I'm not good at this, at accepting help." "I noticed. But Marcus, this isn't charity. This is investment. In your community, in your kids, in the future. And it's not just for me. I talked to other CEOs, other foundations, people who have resources and needed to know where to put them. You gave me that map. I gave you a list of places that needed help. Exactly. Do you know how rare that is? Most people who have access to power use it for themselves. You used it for everyone else. Marcus stopped pacing. My daughter came home yesterday talking about the new microscopes at school. She spent an hour telling me about cells, cell walls, mitochondria, things I can't even pronounce. And she was so excited, so alive. He heard Victoria's breath catch. That's why we did this. She asked me if I knew the lady who made it happen, if I could say thank you. What did you tell her? I told her I'd try. Then tell her she's welcome. Tell her to keep studying, keep dreaming. Tell her the world needs scientists who look like her. Marcus felt his throat tighten again. Seemed like he was always fighting tears these days. There's something else, Victoria said. I wanted to run it by you first before doing anything. What? Your job. Construction. Bill Henderson is your foreman, right? Marcus's spine went rigid. How do you know Bill's name? I asked around, quietly. I know people in the construction industry. Marcus, you're working for a company that doesn't provide health insurance. No retirement, no sick days. And Bill's contract is up for renewal next month with the city. Victoria, no, don't mess with my job. I'm not messing with it. I'm trying to help. The union has been trying to get that company to negotiate better terms for workers. If I can convince the city to make those terms a requirement for the next contract, you'll get me fired. You'll get everyone on my crew fired. No, I'll get you proper compensation. Health care, a pension, the things you deserve for breaking your back 60 hours a week. And if it doesn't work, if the company just walks away, then what? Then I've got no job at all and 2 kids to feed. Silence on the other end. I didn't think about that. Exactly. You're thinking like someone who's never been one paycheck from homeless. Victoria, I appreciate what you're trying to do, but you can't just steamroll into my life and change everything. Some of us can't afford the risk of your good intentions. You're right. I'm sorry. I should have asked first. Yeah, you should have. More silence. I'm comfortable. Marcus, I'm learning. I promise I'm trying to learn. But I'm going to make mistakes. I need you to tell me when I'm stepping over the line. Marcus sat down at his kitchen table, the one that wobbled, the one they'd had since Keisha was born. The line is this. Don't make decisions about my life without asking me first. Don't assume you know what's best. And don't risk what little stability I have for what might be better. Because might isn't enough when you've got kids depending on you. Understood. I won't touch the job situation. But Marcus. What? Will you at least let me connect you with some union organizers? People who can tell you about your rights. Who can help you and your coworkers negotiate from the inside. Marcus thought about that. That I can do. Information doesn't hurt. Good. I'll send you some contacts. No pressure. Just resources. All right. And Marcus, thank you for checking me. I need that. People don't usually tell me when I'm wrong. Then you need better people around you. Victoria laughed. Genuine. Yeah, I'm starting to realize that. They talked for another 20 minutes. About Keisha's excitement over the science lab. About Ty's basketball team making playoffs. About small things that felt enormous. When they hung up, Marcus felt different. Not fixed, not saved, but seen. Actually seen. The following Tuesday, Marcus met with a union organizer named David Chen. No relation to Victoria, he'd said with a smile. They met at a coffee shop 3 blocks from the construction site. David was young, mid-30s, sharp suit, sharper eyes. "Mr. Washington, thank you for meeting me. Call me Marcus. Marcus, I'm going to be straight with you. Your company has been violating labor laws for years. Unpaid overtime, unsafe working conditions, retaliation against workers who complain. The union's been building a case. We just needed someone on the inside willing to talk." Marcus's stomach turned. "I'm not trying to lose my job. I understand. But here's the thing. You've got rights. Federal rights. They can't fire you for organizing. Can't punish you for talking to us. And if they try, we'll bury them in lawsuits." I've heard that before. Heard about rights. Then watched guys get let go for mysterious reasons 2 weeks later. David leaned forward. "I'm not going to lie to you and say there's no risk. There is. But Marcus, you're already at risk. You're one workplace accident away from bankruptcy. One company decision away from unemployment. At least this way, you're fighting for something better." Marcus stirred his coffee, watched the cream swirl. "How many guys you got willing to organize?" "On your site? 3 so far. We need at least 15 to make it stick. 20 would be better." "And you want me to recruit them?" "I want you to tell them the truth. About what's possible. About what you deserve. The rest is up to them." Marcus thought about Bill. Good guy. Fair guy. But still management. Still the one who'd have to enforce whatever the company decided. "I need to think about it." "Fair enough. But Marcus, don't think too long. The contract renewal is in 3 weeks. After that, we lose our leverage." They shook hands. David left his card. Marcus sat there for another hour, coffee going cold, watching the world through the window. His phone rang. Ty. "Dad, where are you?" "Coffee shop near work. Why? Everything okay?" "Yeah, just, can you come home? Like, now?" Marcus's heart rate spiked. "What happened?" "Nothing bad, just, please come home." Marcus threw money on the table, ran to his truck. The drive took 12 minutes that felt like 12 hours. He burst through the apartment door. Ty and Keisha were sitting on the couch, both smiling. "What's wrong? What happened?" Keisha held up an envelope. "We got a letter, Daddy." "A letter from who?" "From a college. They want to talk to Ty about a basketball scholarship." Marcus's knees went weak. "What?" Ty stood up. He was trying to play it cool, failing. "Some scout came to our game Saturday, the one you came to. He said I've got potential. Said if I keep my grades up and keep playing like I have been, he can get me looks at Division II schools. Maybe even Division I." Marcus couldn't breathe. "Ty, son, that's incredible." "I know, right? I mean, it's not a guarantee or anything. But Dad, it's a chance. A real chance." Marcus pulled his son into a hug. Felt Ty's arms wrap around him. When had he gotten so strong? "I'm so proud of you." "I haven't done anything yet." "You've done everything. You've worked hard, stayed focused, kept believing. That's everything." Keisha jumped up. "What about me, Daddy? When do I get a scholarship?" Marcus laughed, grabbed her too. "Baby girl, you're 9. You've got time. But the way you're going with that science stuff, colleges are going to be fighting over you." "Promise?" "Promise." They ordered pizza that night. The good kind, from the place that didn't use coupons. Marcus put it on the credit card that was already too close to maxed out. But watching his kids eat, watching them laugh, watching them believe in futures that were finally within reach, Worth it. After the kids went to bed, Marcus sat on his couch in the dark, staring at nothing. His phone buzzed. Text from Victoria. Heard about Ty's scholarship opportunity. Congratulations. He earned it. Marcus stared at the message. Typed, "How did you know about that?" "I didn't make it happen, if that's what you're asking. I just heard through the grapevine. The community center coach mentioned it." "You talked to the community center coach?" "I talk to a lot of people now, trying to stay connected to the work we started. Is that okay?" Marcus thought about it, about privacy, about boundaries, about the weird space they existed in now. Not friends exactly, not strangers anymore. Something else, something undefined. "Yeah, it's okay. Just surprised me." Good surprised or bad surprised? Still figuring that out. Fair enough. Sleep well, Marcus. Give Ty my congratulations. Marcus put the phone down, picked it back up, typed something, deleted it, typed again. "Thank you for everything. I know I don't say it enough, but thank you." Her response came fast. "You say it every time you keep fighting, every time you show up for your kids, every time you choose hope over bitterness. That's thanks enough." Marcus read it 3 times. Then he did something he hadn't done since his wife died. He let himself believe things might actually get better. The next morning, Marcus showed up to work early, found Bill in the office. "Got a minute?" Bill looked up from his paperwork. "Sure, what's up?" "I met with a union organizer yesterday." Bill's face went carefully neutral. "Did you now?" "Yeah, and before you say anything, I need to tell you something. This company's been good to me. You've been good to me. But Bill, we're getting screwed. All of us. And you know it." Bill leaned back in his chair. "Marcus, let me finish. I'm not trying to cause trouble. I'm trying to make things fair. Healthcare, retirement, safe working conditions. That's not radical. That's basic. And I think if we organize, if we stand together, we can get it. But I wanted you to hear it from me first, before it becomes a thing." Bill was quiet for a long time. "You know this could get messy." "I know." "You know the company's going to fight it." "I know that too." "And you're doing it anyway." "I'm doing it anyway." Bill rubbed his face, sighed. "Off the record?" "Off the record. I've been telling management for 3 years they need to treat you guys better. They don't listen. Maybe they'll listen to a union. Maybe they won't. But Marcus, you've got my respect for trying." Marcus felt something release in his chest. "So you're not going to fire me?" "Can't fire you for organizing. That's federal law. And even if I could, I wouldn't. You're the best worker I got." "But Marcus, be smart about this. Don't give them any other reason to come after you. Show up on time. Do your job. Keep your nose clean. Because they will be looking for excuses." "I understand." "Good. Now get out there. We've got foundations to pour." Marcus spent the next 2 weeks talking to his coworkers. Quiet conversations. Careful words. 23 guys on the crew. He talked to all of them. 17 said yes. 4 said maybe. 2 said no way. It was enough. The union filed paperwork on a Friday. By Monday morning, management called an emergency meeting. Marcus stood with his crew in the parking lot, watched the regional manager arrive in a suit that cost more than Marcus made in a month. "Gentlemen," the manager said. His name was Peterson. Marcus had met him twice. "I understand there's been some talk about unionizing. I want to address that head on. This company values each and every one of you. We're a family here. And families don't need outside organizations telling them how to operate." One of the younger guys, Tommy, raised his hand. Then why don't we have health insurance? Peterson smiled, didn't reach his eyes. We offer competitive wages. Healthcare is expensive. We have to balance costs. We balance costs by bleeding, Marcus said, loud enough for everyone to hear. By working without safety equipment because the budget doesn't cover it. By going home sore and coming back hurt. By dying a little bit every day so your quarterly numbers look good. The parking lot went silent. Peterson's smile disappeared. Mr. Washington, I don't care what you appreciate. I care about feeding my kids, about not dying on this job, about retiring someday instead of working until my body gives out. We're not asking for luxury. We're asking for basic human dignity. And if you can't give us that, then yeah, we need a union. The crew murmured agreement, some louder than others. Peterson's jaw tightened. This conversation isn't over. No, sir, Marcus said. It's just getting started. Peterson left. Bill walked over. That was either really brave or really stupid. Probably both. Yeah, probably. But Marcus slept that night. Solid. Deep. The sleep of someone who'd finally stopped running from his own voice. And when his phone rang at 2 a.m., when the number showed Victoria's name, he answered it, already knowing something had shifted. Marcus, I'm sorry to call so late. What's wrong? I just got a call from David Chen, the union organizer. He said there's been pushback from your company. Threats, intimidation. Is that true? Marcus sat up in bed. How do you know David? I asked him to keep me updated. Not interfere, just inform. Marcus, are you safe? I'm fine. Are you, though? Because if you need anything, protection, legal support, anything, I can make calls, Victoria, stop. She stopped. I appreciate what you're trying to do, but this is my fight. Mine and my crew's. We started it, we'll finish it. Your job is to keep doing what you've been doing. Fund the programs, support the community. Let us handle our own battles. But I can help. You are helping, by trusting me to fight my own fights. Can you do that? Silence. Then, yes, I can do that. But Marcus? Yeah? You're not alone in this. Remember that. You've got people who care, who'll show up if you need them. Okay? Marcus felt something warm spread through his chest. Okay. Now get some sleep. I'm sure you've got a company to run in the morning. And I'm sure you've got concrete to pour. Yeah, I do. Good night, Marcus. Good night, Victoria. He hung up, lay back down, stared at the ceiling. Tomorrow would bring whatever it brought. Threats, consequences, change. But tonight, for the first time in 3 years, Marcus Washington wasn't carrying the weight alone. And that made all the difference. 6 months later, Marcus stood in front of the city council chambers, holding the folder he'd read so many times the pages were soft as cloth. The union vote had passed. Barely. 53%. But passed. The company fought back, cut hours, eliminated overtime, made life hell for anyone who'd voted yes. 3 guys quit. 2 got transferred to jobs an hour outside the city. And Peterson made it clear. This wasn't over. But then something happened that nobody expected. The city contract came up for renewal, and the mayor, an old black woman who'd fought her own battles in the 60s, added a clause. Any company bidding on city construction projects had to provide health care and retirement benefits to their workers. Peterson's company walked away from the bid, said it was too expensive, unsustainable. Another company stepped in, one with union contracts already in place. one that saw workers as assets, not expenses. They hired Marcus's entire crew. Same work, different bosses. Healthcare started in 30 days. Marcus got the call on a Tuesday. Bill called him personally. "Washington, you sitting down?" "Should I be?" "We got it. Healthcare, retirement, safety equipment budget tripled. It's all in writing. You won. You actually won." Marcus had to pull over. Couldn't drive and process that information at the same time. "Say that again?" "You won, Marcus. You and the guys. You stood up. You fought. And you won." Marcus sat in his truck on the side of the road and cried. Big, ugly sobs that came from somewhere deep. From 3 years of widow grief. From 42 years of being invisible. From a lifetime of fighting for scraps and finally getting a seat at the table. He called Victoria. She answered like she always did now. Second ring. "Marcus?" "We got it. Healthcare. Everything." He heard her gasp. "Oh my God, Marcus, that's incredible. I'm so proud of you." "I couldn't have done it without you." "Yes, you could have. You did do it. I just cheered from the sidelines." "You did more than that. The mayor. She wouldn't have added that clause without pressure, without someone making her see it mattered." Victoria was quiet. "I may have had a conversation with her about the importance of protecting workers, about how the city has a responsibility to set standards. But Marcus, that was her decision, her courage. Still, thank you." "You're welcome. Now go tell your kids. They should hear it from you." Marcus drove home, burst through the door. Keisha looked up from her homework. New textbooks, part of the grant funding. "Daddy, you're home early." "Baby girl, I need to tell you something. You and your brother—" Ty emerged from the bedroom, basketball in hand, always in hand. "What's up, Dad?" Marcus sat them both down. "You know how I've been fighting with my job, about getting health care and benefits?" "Yeah," Ty said. "You've been stressed. Not anymore. We won. Starting next month, Daddy's going to have health insurance and a retirement plan. And if I get hurt, we'll be okay. We'll be protected." Keisha's eyes went wide. "Does that mean we're not poor anymore?" Marcus pulled her onto his lap. "Baby, we were never poor. We were just struggling. But yeah, things are going to be easier now. Not perfect, not rich, but easier." Ty sat down next to them. "Dad, that's really good." "Yeah, son, it really is." They ordered Chinese food that night. The good place. Everyone got their own entree. No sharing, no stretching. And Marcus watched his kids eat until they were full. Watched them laugh. Watched them be children who didn't have to worry about money. The feeling was better than anything he'd ever experienced. 2 days later, Victoria called with news that changed everything again. "Marcus, I need to ask you something, and I need you to be completely honest." "Okay. Would you be willing to speak, publicly, about your experience, about organizing, about what it took to win?" Marcus's stomach dropped. "Victoria, we talked about this, about publicity, about keeping my family safe." I know. But Marcus, other workers are trying to do what you did, in other cities, other industries, and they're scared. They need to hear from someone who actually succeeded, who fought and won. There are plenty of organizers who can tell that story. But you're not an organizer. You're a father, a worker, a regular person who stood up. That matters. That means something different. Marcus paced his kitchen. "What are you asking exactly?" "There's a labor conference next month in Chicago. Major unions, worker rights groups, policymakers. They want someone to give the keynote. Someone real. I recommended you. No, absolutely not. Marcus, I'm not a speaker, Victoria. I'm not inspirational. I'm just a guy who wanted health care for his kids. Exactly, that's the point. You're not a politician. You're not trying to sell anything. You're just telling the truth. Your truth. And people need to hear it. Marcus stopped pacing. What's in it for you? Why do you care if I speak or not? Victoria sighed. Because I've spent 6 months learning that change doesn't happen from the top down. It happens from the bottom up. From people like you, telling people like me what actually matters. And I think your voice, your story, it could help a lot of people. Or it could put a target on my back. It could. I won't lie. There's risk. But Marcus, you've already taken the biggest risk. You've already stood up. This is just telling people about it. Marcus thought about his crew, about the guys who'd voted yes despite the threats, about the ones who'd quit because the pressure was too much, about the future his kids were building in schools that finally had resources. I need to think about it. Of course, take your time. The conference isn't until next month. But Marcus, whatever you decide, I support it. No pressure, no judgment. That night, Marcus talked to his kids. There's a lady who wants me to give a speech about the union stuff, about fighting for workers' rights. Ty looked up from his phone. Are you going to do it? I don't know. That's why I'm asking you, both of you. This affects you too. Keisha climbed into his lap. 10 years old now. Getting too big for this, but Marcus let her anyway. Will you be on TV? Maybe. Probably. Will people know who we are? They might. She thought about that. Will it help other kids? Like the science lab helped me? Marcus's throat tightened. Yeah, baby. It might help other kids. Then you should do it. Ty was harder to read. What do you think, son? Ty put down his phone, really looked at his father. I think you've been afraid your whole life. Afraid of being seen. Afraid of standing out. Afraid of what might happen if people noticed you. And I get it. I do. Being black in America means learning to be invisible. But Dad, you saved someone's life. You organized your workplace. You changed things. Maybe it's time to stop being afraid. Marcus felt something crack open in his chest. When did you get so wise? I had a good teacher. Marcus called Victoria the next morning. I'll do it. One speech, that's all. And my family stays out of it. No pictures of my kids, no interviews with them. Just me. Agreed. Thank you, Marcus. You're doing a brave thing. Yeah, well, my son reminded me that brave is kind of our thing now. The month passed in a blur. Marcus worked, practiced his speech in the mirror, rewrote it a dozen times. Keisha helped him with the big words. Ty gave him feedback on delivery. The night before the conference, Marcus couldn't sleep. He lay in bed staring at the ceiling, wondering what the hell he'd agreed to. His phone buzzed. Text from Victoria. Can't sleep either. Want to talk? He called her. Tell me I'm not making a mistake. You're not making a mistake. How do you know? Because I've seen you do impossible things. Raise 2 kids alone. Organize your workplace. Save a stranger's life without hesitation. Giving a speech is nothing compared to that. Giving a speech means being seen, being judged, being vulnerable. Yes, it does. But Marcus, you've been vulnerable your whole life. You've just been invisible while doing it. Maybe it's time to be vulnerable and visible. Maybe that's where the real power is. Marcus thought about that. I'm terrified. Good. That means it matters. The things worth doing are always terrifying. When did you get so wise? Victoria laughed. I had a good teacher. The conference hall held 3,000 people. Marcus stood backstage, hands shaking, wondering if he could just run, just disappear, go back to being nobody. But then he thought about Keisha, about her science project on cell regeneration, about how she'd stood in front of her class and presented without fear. If she could be brave, so could he. The moderator introduced him. A construction worker from Chicago who organized his workplace and won. A single father who chose dignity over silence. Please welcome Marcus Washington. The applause was loud. Too loud. Marcus walked onto the stage. 3,000 faces staring at him. Cameras. Lights. He reached the podium, pulled out a speech. The one he'd practiced. Then he put it away. I'm not good at speeches, he said. I'm good at waking up at 4:30 in the morning. I'm good at making $8 stretch to feed 2 kids. I'm good at pretending I'm not scared when everything's falling apart. The room was silent. 6 months ago, I saved a woman's life. People called me a hero. But I'm not a hero. I'm just a man who saw someone who needed help and decided that mattered more than my comfort. That's not heroism. That's basic humanity. He looked out at the crowd, saw Victoria in the 3rd row. She nodded. 3 months ago, I organized my workplace. People called me brave, but I wasn't brave. I was desperate. Desperate for my kids to have health care. Desperate to stop choosing between electricity and groceries. Desperate to believe that working hard actually meant something. His voice was shaking, but he kept going. I'm standing here today not because I'm special, but because I'm not. I'm every worker who's afraid to speak up, every parent who's one emergency from bankruptcy, every person who's been told to be grateful for crumbs while someone else eats cake. And I'm here to tell you that we deserve more, not as a gift, not as charity, as a right, as human beings who contribute to this economy, this society, this world. The applause started. He raised his hand. I'm not finished, because here's what nobody tells you about standing up. It's lonely. It's scary. You will lose sleep. You will doubt yourself. You will wonder if it's worth it. But then your daughter comes home talking about microscopes. Your son gets a scholarship opportunity. Your coworkers get health care. And you realize it was always worth it. We were always worth it. 3,000 people rose to their feet. Marcus stood there, letting it wash over him. Not the applause, but the feeling of being seen. Really seen. Not as a symbol, not as a story, but as a man who'd fought and bled and won. He finished his speech, walked off stage. Victoria was waiting in the wings. Marcus, that was... He hugged her, right there, in front of everyone. Thank you for pushing me, for believing I had something worth saying. She hugged him back. You always did. I just helped you find the microphone. They flew back to Chicago the next day. Marcus went back to work, back to his life. But something was different now. He walked different, talked different, carried himself like a man who'd stopped apologizing for existing. 2 months later, Ty got his scholarship. Full ride to a Division II school. Basketball and academics. Marcus stood in the gym watching his son sign the papers, and he couldn't stop the tears. Proud of you, son. Couldn't have done it without you, Dad. Yeah, you could have. You did the work. You earned this. Ty hugged him. 16 years old and taller than Marcus now. When had that happened? I'm going to make you proud. You already do. every single day. Keisha graduated 5th grade with honors, won the school science fair, got invited to a summer program at Northwestern University for gifted students. Marcus watched her present her project and saw his wife's brilliance shining through. "Mama would be so proud of you, baby girl." "You think so?" "I know so." That summer, Marcus received a letter from the mayor's office. They wanted him to serve on a workers' rights advisory board, help shape policy, be a voice for people who usually didn't have one. He called Victoria. "Did you have anything to do with this?" "I may have mentioned your name, but Marcus, they asked because you're qualified, because you have experience they need. Don't let imposter syndrome talk you out of this." "I don't know anything about policy." "You know about people, about struggle, about what works and what doesn't. That's more valuable than any degree." Marcus accepted the position. 1 year after the night at Giovanni's, Marcus and Victoria met for coffee. Their tradition now, once a month. No agenda, just conversation. "How are the kids?" Victoria asked. "Good. Great, actually. Ty's packing for college next week. Keisha starts middle school. I'm terrified and proud and exhausted." "Sounds about right." "How's the company?" "Growing, changing. We launched a worker equity program, profit sharing. Health care for all employees, even part-time. Turns out treating people like humans is good for business. Who knew?" Marcus smiled. Imagine that. They sat in comfortable silence, the kind that came from knowing someone, really knowing them. "Marcus?" "Yeah?" "That night, at the restaurant, when you saved my life, I don't think I ever properly thanked you." "You thanked me plenty." "No, I thanked you for the Heimlich. But I never thanked you for everything that came after. For teaching me to see people. For challenging me. For being honest even when it was uncomfortable. You didn't just save my life. You changed it." Marcus met her eyes. "You changed mine, too. Gave my kids opportunities I couldn't. Gave me a voice I didn't know I had. So, I guess we're even." "I guess we are." They finished their coffee, hugged goodbye, went back to their separate lives that were somehow still connected. That night, Marcus tucked Keisha into bed. She was getting too old for this, but he did it anyway. "Daddy?" "Yeah, baby?" "Remember when you saved that lady's life?" "I remember." "Do you think you'd do it again, even knowing everything that happened after?" Marcus thought about that, about the reporters, the attention, the fear, but also about the science labs, the scholarships, the healthcare, the workers who'd found their voices because he'd found his first. "Yeah, baby, I'd do it again, every time." "Why?" "Because helping people is never the wrong choice, even when it's hard, even when it's scary, even when it changes everything. Doing right is always worth it." Keisha smiled, closed her eyes. "I want to be like you when I grow up." Marcus kissed her forehead. "Baby girl, you're already better than me. Just keep being you." He turned off the light, checked on Ty, found him on the phone with his girlfriend, talking about college, about dreams, about futures that were suddenly possible. Marcus stood in his apartment, the same one they'd lived in for 5 years. Tiny, cramped, but filled with love. He thought about his wife, about the promises he'd made to her in the hospital, to take care of their babies, to keep them safe, to show them what strength looked like. "I'm doing it, baby," he whispered. "They're going to be okay. We're all going to be okay." His phone buzzed. Text from Victoria. Thank you for coffee today, and for everything. You're a good man, Marcus Washington. He smiled, typed back, You're not so bad yourself, Victoria Chen. Then he put his phone away, made his lunch for tomorrow, set his alarm for 4:30, because the work never stopped. The fight for dignity, for fairness, for a world where saving someone's life didn't make you a hero. It just made you human. And Marcus Washington, single father, construction worker, organizer, speaker, and reluctant hero, was the most human man he knew. Not because he was perfect, not because he'd figured everything out, but because he kept showing up, kept fighting, kept believing that tomorrow could be better than today. And sometimes, when the world was quiet and his kids were sleeping and the weight of everything pressed down, he thought about that November night, about the woman choking, about the choice to act instead of watch. And he knew, deep in his bones, that he'd make the same choice every single time. Not for recognition, not for reward, but because some things mattered more than fear. Love mattered more. Justice mattered more. Dignity mattered more. And in the end, those were the only things that ever really did.